Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Jeremy and this is Recast from the Past, a show where we throw out those rose-colored glasses of nostalgia to revisit some of our favorite classic content to see if it still holds up to the standards of today. So on last week's episode, I wanted to check out the premiere of Degrassi Junior High School because I had never seen it before. And I was less than impressed with what I saw. So if you haven't seen it, please go watch last week's episode with the premiere, because today we're going to be checking out episode 2, The Big Dance. So the episode begins and we're introduced to Voula's kind of central conflict for this episode, and that's that she comes from a very traditional Greek family. Her father is super strict, and he finds an advertisement for a school dance that she really wants to go to. And her father says, "You are definitely too young to go to a dance," and tells her that maybe she can experience something like this when she's a little bit older. It's always interesting to me that these characters, or even people in real life, that have these type of super strict parents, are treated like children, yet they always seem to have like the responsibilities and maturity of an adult. Like if anyone could handle themselves at the school dance, it's probably Voula. So now we get to meet baby Lucy, who we saw in the premiere episode of Degrassi: The Next Generation as an adult. She's inviting her two friends over who are twins to her house before the dance, and they're a little bit worried about how Lucy's parents will feel about them being over. And Lucy says,
"Oh, it's okay, they're loose, okay? So
I'm sorry, what?
they're loose."
Oh, good for them. Obviously, loose here means like laid back, but definitely not used to that term. I don't know if it's an 80s thing or a Canadian thing, but I'm loose from here on out. So Voula goes over to say hi to the twins, and Steph comes up too, and there's this awkward moment where you can still tell there's a bunch of tension between the two.
Oh, she's talking to me. The school president is talking to me.
And I love the twins in the background. They're just like,
Look, I'm sorry for what happened during the...
ugh, and Steph is back to her bullshit in that ill-fitting polo and skirt. So Steph is kind of trying to make amends, and Lucy's like, no, not gonna happen. Never gonna forgive you for what you did to me. And so Steph heads over to the bathroom where she meets up with Lucy. And actually we see her changing into the outfit that she really wants to wear. And I don't know, I don't really understand what's wrong with it to the point where her parents don't want her to wear it. But Steph is like, my parents would never let me out of the house wearing something like that. Talking about Lucy's outfit. And I'm like, she's like dressed for a freaking ski trip, but I guess it's a little too edgy for school, I don't know. So Steph is super shocked that Lucy's parents let her go out like that. And Lucy's like,
I can do whatever I like. I can go where I want, dress how I want.
Do whatever drugs I want, kill who I want. And actually I can kind of relate to this. Not that I could do whatever I want as a kid, but my parents were kind of busy doing their own thing, so I was basically able to do whatever I wanted. Before Lucy leaves the bathroom, Steph asks Lucy for advice about a guy. She really wants to ask a boy out, but she's like, oh, is it okay in this day and age for a girl to ask the boy out? And Lucy's like,
Please, Stephanie, this is the 80s.
Like, girls can do anything now. Just 3 years ago, sexual harassment finally became a form of job discrimination. 15 years ago, women legally got the right to have an abortion, which would essentially be taken away 50 years later in Texas. Funny that. But obviously that's for the US. Abortion is very much legal in all parts of Canada to this day. And actually it seems like it was legalized a little bit later in Canada in 1988. But anyway, Voula or Lucy don't have to worry about getting an abortion, obviously. I'm just trying to discuss how women's rights have improved or gotten worse throughout time. Oh, and then we see baby Spike again in the background. I don't know why she's been relegated to background work. Joey's back with a new hat, and he's talking to Wheels about wanting to take Steph to the prom. But we see this interaction between Steph and Wheels, and it kind of seems like Steph and Wheels are actually interested in each other. Sorry, Joey. Also, isn't Wheels old Kissy Lips McGee from the first episode? I'm pretty sure he was one of the kids in the background telling Steph to take her clothes off, so...
Take it all off. Oh, yeah.
Both him and Joey are still in my burn book. Steph is walking with the twins talking about Wheels, and she says,
He's so sexy.
am I just not remembering junior high school correctly? I don't remember kids calling kids sexy. I remember like handsome or cute or hot. I don't know, something about it just feels wrong to me hearing that, but maybe I'm just not remembering correctly. I don't know. So Joey wants to ask Steph to the dance, but it's painfully obvious that Wheels wants to as well. Also, are you allowed to wear hats inside in Canada? I'm pretty sure that was like dress code rule number 1 here in the US. So over in Steph's classroom, Voula is asking the 8th graders to help her come up with ideas to raise money because Degrassi Junior High School is sponsoring a foster child. And our wonderful president Steph is basically completely useless and gives no valuable input.
What does the school president think?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Which, at least, is true to life when talking about presidents. But I guess that conversation in the mirror meant nothing, did it, Steph?
Still gonna be
The best president this school ever had.
Also, can we talk about this background music? On second thought, no, let's not. So Lucy comes up with the idea to use the dance to help raise money for the foster child sponsorship. And she's like, oh, you should be the one to present the check or do the presentation during the dance. But Voula is not allowed to go to the dance. So for whatever reason, she makes up some lie to Lucy saying, oh, I can't go because I have tons of homework to do. And I guess it's because she's embarrassed of her father, but I don't know why she just doesn't tell her immediately why she can't really go. But then she does. And Lucy tries to tell her like the right way to bring these things up to her parents.
You've got to educate them, or they'll walk all over you.
And then she reiterates that,
My parents are real loose.
yeah, Lucy, we got it the first time. Then Voula is seduced by the sinful nature of the makeup world when she sees Lucy putting on some lipstick. Which is something else I could relate to after meeting my roommate. I was so against makeup for guys for the longest time for whatever reason. And look at me now. Oh, wait. Can I get a brand deal? No, probably not. So after the conversation with Lucy, where Lucy's like, oh, you just have to find the right way to talk to your parents about it, for whatever reason, she thinks it's a good idea to go home to her dad right after she put on the devil's lipstick to go have a conversation with him about going to the dance. So of course her father sees the lipstick and tells her to take it off. And then she kind of like rethinks her plan to tell her father about the dance. She decides to just lie to him. I mean, of course, duh, Voula. But I get it. She's a good girl and she doesn't want to lie to her father, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm just kidding. Don't lie. Don't lie. Be honest. Honesty is important. Unless you're a teenager and you have to lie to your parents to have fun. Sometimes. As long as you're being safe. I don't know. I'm not a parent. This is why I'm not a parent. I'm the cool gunkle for a reason. So back at school, we have Joey talking to Wheels, and he's telling him about inviting Steph to the dance. And he's like, oh, she'll never forget the time that Joey Jeremiah asked her to the 8th grade dance. And I'm like, calm down. The only thing she'll remember about this dance is that she spent $5 to awkwardly two-step around a bunch of strangers for the first time. And she walks up, and I'm like, yes, bitch, that purse, that belt, I would wear this. And following Lucy's advice, she does ask Wheels to the dance, which is very progressive. And I thought this was going to create some kind of conflict with Joey and Wheels, because, of course, it definitely seems to be what they're setting up, but they really barely touch on it again this episode. That evening, we have everybody getting ready for the dance, and the twins take Steph over to Lucy's house, and listen to the way they ask if Steph can tag along at Lucy's place.
Is it okay if Steph comes? I mean, she had to change somewhere, and our parents know her.
Excuse me, bitch? I'm class president. You're lucky I'm gracing you with my presence right now. We learn that Lucy is supposedly loaded with her moderately sized house in the suburbs, but apparently they own a loft in Manhattan, so they're doing fine. Voula walks into the dance and she's like, balloons? Streamers? Music? Is this fun? Fast forward 30 years later where she's passed out in a pool of her own vomit at a dive bar. Or so her father thinks anyway. Back over at Lucy's house, one of the twins discovers one of the many alcohol bottles placed all over the house. I'm pretty sure Lucy's parents were trying to make her an alcoholic. Like, we're just gonna put these here, and here on your nightstand. Don't do anything with them. Anyway, one of the twins, what are their names? Why don't they name any of these characters? I don't know. Let me find out. Heather and Erica. We'll just say this one's Heather. Heather really wants to get splashed.
Too bad we can't get splashed.
Which I guess means wasted, and I'm stealing all of these terms. Oh, don't worry, my roommate's super loose, so let's get splashed. I love that Lucy is in the background like,
If you want a drink, go ahead.
the other twin, Erica, asks about her parents, and naturally, Lucy says,
Oh, they're loose.
okay, Lucy, you need to stop telling everyone your parents are loose. Like 9 7th graders had to go to the guidance counselor to try to get that image out of their head. Oof. Heather, maybe Erica, is like, that brown liquid looks good. I'm like, girl, no it doesn't. Steph walks over and the twins tell her how they've gotten splashed before, and of course Steph is shocked by this. But actually my first time getting drunk was also in 7th grade, thanks to my older brother. But I blame the Episcopalian Church for my alcoholism. Y'all really thought giving a 6-year-old boy a big sip of wine every Sunday was bringing him closer to God? So while they're getting splashed, Joey and Wheels arrive at the dance, and Steph isn't there yet. So Joey gets super excited at the idea that Steph stood Wheels up, and I'm like, great friend. Like, Joey really doesn't have any redeeming qualities so far. And he's really likable as an adult too. So it looks like the girls are getting splashed on straight liquor. Oh, just kidding. It looks like she chugs a glass of Bailey's. Another thing I could relate to, my mom was obsessed with Bailey's. I'm pretty sure that was like one of the first things I got drunk off, which is kind of disgusting, actually. So they're still busy at Lucy's house, and we see some cute couples on the dance floor. And wait, what? What is this throwaway scene of this cute couple dancing? I wonder if they knew at the time that this was going to be a plot spanning several seasons, actually several series of Degrassi shows, right? Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, and Degrassi The Next Generation. Oh, that's kind of crazy. It's kind of cute, actually. So in these next few scenes, we see Steph and her friends getting really drunk and make getting drunk look really fun, actually. Like, I know obviously things will probably turn out bad in the end of the episode, but right now I'm pretty sure every kid watching this is trying to figure out how they're going to get splashed before their next dance. I love that Lucy didn't drink at all, encouraged her friends to drink, and then has the wonderful judgment to bring them to the dance when they're way too messed up to go there. Like, I think we all have this type of friend. I definitely have had this friend before. I remember one of the first times I visited LA, I got really drunk with my brother, and he proceeded to take me to the rockiest beach we can find, and I definitely fell on my chin and had to get like 3 stitches. Like, I don't even know what rocky beaches there are in LA. Why were we there? I think he was trying to kill me. I think my brother was trying to kill me. So it seems like Raditch is the MC or DJ to this dance, and I don't know what's happening, but I'm pretty sure I'm falling hard for Raditch. When Steph gets into the dance, she like immediately starts vibing with the music, showing all these little amateurs how it's done. At this point in the episode, I was like, maybe they are just trying to show kids how fun it is to get drunk. Like, she's having a great time laughing with her friends, vibing with the music, becoming the dance queen of the party. She goes off to win prom queen, rides off into the sunset with Wheels, wakes up the next day like, what an amazing night. But no. Right as I'm thinking that, you can tell she's starting to feel nauseous, and she runs off to the bathroom, surprisingly making it to the toilet and vomiting. Like, come on. Wouldn't it have been more interesting and probably realistic to see her projectile vomit all over her date, embarrassing herself in front of everybody? But no, she just ran off to the bathroom, and Wheels, instead of getting concerned for his date who just got sick out of nowhere, sits down all pouty-faced. I'm like, and in the bathroom, she's so embarrassed.
I'll never be able to face Wheels again.
When nothing happened. Literally best case scenario happened to her. But she still has to present the check or whatever it is for the foster child sponsorship. And Voula is having a wonderful time dancing with Arthur, Steph's brother, when she runs off all Cinderella because she's moments away from turning into a pumpkin. Her father gave her a curfew of 9:30 and it looks like she's already past that. Lucy finds Voula before she leaves and she's like, hey, we need you to present whatever because Steph is full on swashed and definitely can't. And I'm like, wait, wasn't this the point all along? Isn't this the reason that Voula came to the dance? Voula was going there for a good cause. I thought the whole point that Lucy wanted her to go was so she can present the whatever they're presenting. Actually, I don't even know what the whole thing is. She said present a check at the beginning. But anyway, she's resistant at first, but then finally she agrees because Steph asked nicely. So Voula walks up and gives her little presentation, but then her dad walks in, catching her in her lie of going to the dance when she said she just had a meeting that night. Steph is still all embarrassed in the bathroom, and someone tell me why Lucy is dressed like Goku. So Voula apologizes to her father for lying, and Lucy invites Steph over to her house to sleep it off.
My head.
And that's the end of the episode. So what did we learn today? Drinking is super fun and makes you a better dancer, but might make you a little nauseous and embarrass yourself if you drink too much. There are cultural differences in parenting styles, which might make you the type of kid who gets in trouble for going to the dance, gets splashed and goes to the dance, or gets your friends splashed and takes them to the dance. Oh, and Raditch is still hot. I don't know, this episode was a little weird. Like, it probably would have made more sense if all of the girls really embarrassed themselves and got kicked out of the dance. Like, underage kids drinking for the first time, that's very likely to happen, right? So I don't know why they played it so safe and made drinking seem actually pretty fun. And maybe it would have been a good turning point for Steph to realize that maybe she's not being a good enough president instead of not a good future wife to frickin' Wheels. And then if Voula was like scared to stand up for herself at first after she got caught, but then like doubled down, and her father kind of learned like, oh shoot, if I hold her back too much, it might have this kind of rebound effect. Because I kind of feel like, I don't know, I feel like I learned nothing in this episode. I guess it wasn't bad, but I don't know. So far, I'm feeling like Degrassi Junior High still hasn't really found its footing yet. But what did you guys think of this episode? If you liked it, or if you didn't like it, or whatever your thoughts and feelings, please let me know in the comments down below. Please also like and subscribe to my channel. Also, click that follow button so you'll be notified of my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.